Wow, welcome to Sisters and Law. Wonderful Sunday afternoon. I'm Judge T.
It is a lovely afternoon, and I'm Rosalind Charles, and we're brought to you once again in a very relaxed setting.
Yes.
Times are always interesting. We've had a number of instances last week, and we're not really just going to talk about the 45th.
Yeah, he's really starting to bore me, really.
Right, but last week, actually yesterday, the verdict in the Bill Cosby case came down, and
Yes.
it wasn't a verdict. The jury was hung. A mistrial was declared.
Now, let's start off with one thing so that we can make, so that you can understand our argument's going to be. Although I was a judge, our main relationship had come from me being a public defender or a defense attorney for most of my career, and my Sora Roz was my adversary.
I was the prosecutor.
Yes.
So I think we're going to have some interesting discussions
but
gathering
justice,
around Bill Cosby.
You know,
well, let's talk
justice
about
for
the
me,
case itself.
yes.
I mean, not just because there are a lot of things that came up. I mean, we had a trial that came about after where a deposition was utilized as against Mr. Cosby.
Yes.
In the trial itself.
A deposition that a judge had put on gag 10 years ago after a settlement was made.
Well, you know what? The judge, that's not exactly the way it happened. They were in the middle of some motion practice, meaning the parties, and they were in the middle of motion practice, meaning filing papers, trying to get a protective order. And during that motion practice, a temporary protective order was put in place.
Mm-hmm.
During that whole process, the parties settled, and somebody forgot to make that temporary permanent. So then they had a hearing. 2014. This is way back in 2004. Then they had a hearing in 2014 where the Associated Press wanted the deposition, and in fact, the Associated Press wanted the deposition back in 2004, and the judge ultimately ruled that one, the court wasn't a part of that settlement. Two, the protective order was temporary and had lapsed over 10 years ago, and three, because of Bill Cosby and some of the things he said publicly, his right to privacy had been diminished, so they allowed that deposition to go public.
Well, you know what? This is my issue with. You know what? What did it say? It's 40 women. 40 women had allegations against Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
And go ahead, y'all. Get outraged. Go ahead, lose your minds. You know, do all of the, send all your crazy messages in. But I'm gonna tell you now.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of comedians who are making money today are making money off of Bill Cosby.
Right.
Including Bill Maher, who I listen to, but trust and believe. The wind is blowing, so don't worry about the shaking as the camera. And you know, even Temple University, you know, they, after millions of dollars that he's given to Temple University, they're outraged. I'm like, okay, well, give the man his damn money back. Mm-hmm. But this is where my issue lies. There is a lot of women in this country that have been sexually assaulted and nothing has been done because the person who sexually assaulted them may not be a Bill Cosby.
Well, you know what? I'll agree with you on that particular point, but let's look at this particular case. The victim in this prosecution was the plaintiff in the civil suit. The victim in this prosecution also started a criminal lodged a criminal complaint back in 2004. So the facts are a little different here. Bill just played the wrong dozens because essentially he gave this testimony, this deposition testimony back in 2004 under the pretense that the prosecution wasn't going to move forward with any kind of criminal. Let
me just be a little way left.
Yeah, okay.
40 years of this man supposedly giving people pills.
Yes.
So that his pattern of how he has sex is pretty consistent.
Right.
And I'm not going to believe that when she met Bill Cosby 10 years ago that she did not know of his history. Because obviously, at least 20, 30 women before him because she's
talking about her credibility. We're talking about her credibility.
Exactly.
I'm not saying she's credible.
But
I'm just saying the process. I don't have a problem with the process.
The process I don't have a problem with, but when you are going to try a case because you want to prove a point for political gain, because remember the person who was running for prosecutor in Philadelphia, that's how this case all came about. He said that he was going to reopen that case after it had already been closed if he became prosecutor. That was his shtick, almost.
But why did he reopen it? Because he had new evidence. The deposition.
He reopened it because he knew that it was going to get him some television time.
Well, maybe that's the case. And it did get him some
but
television time.
But that's not what justice is about.
I don't know if that was his absolute reason.
So if that's so, then give those 20-something women who accused President, I almost called the man president, Lord, this heat out here, the heat.
The 45th.
The 45th has 22, 26 women who have accused.
Have any of them filed criminal complaints
Yes,
against
they
them?
have.
And what happened with them?
Yes, we have no idea.
I'm not aware that they filed
but
criminal complaints, and there's a criminal prosecution
But you know
pending.
what?
What?
If you can wait 10 years after a case has been settled and filed, then these women have a right to file too. They have
There's
a right to
something
file
called
too.
statute of limitations, and
We don't know that those statutes of limitations have been run.
That's
and
been,
the judge
in
in this
New Jersey,
case allowed
Pennsylvania.
someone. The judge in this case allowed someone whose statute of limitations had run to testify. I never heard of that in my life.
Well, that's a prior bad act. That's
And-
on the
and-
rule
and-
404B. Remember?
But your 404B rule has to
Right.
say that the value has to overcome any the probative value has overcome any prejudice. That is only reason why they put it in was prejudice. There was no probative value that case
That's a
had wanted to
discretionary
do.
call.
That's a discretionary call, but I
by
can
the
tell
judge.
you, I can go through many cases where that discretionary call.
Well, also, they tried to get more than just that one particular victim to testify, and the judge did not allow
but
those
you didn't
others
need them.
to
You
come
didn't
in.
need them to testify. You had them sitting all in the courtroom, all 30 women sitting in the courtroom.
Well,
I mean, come on. I mean, this is what I'm saying is, folks, we have justice based on who you are. At this time, Bill Cosby ain't the best black man in America right now. And once the black man jumped on him, because the black comedians is eating his behind up.
Well, Bill Cosby kind of brought this on himself.
He brought it on himself. You know why? Because he told black men that they needed to learn how to be fathers.
Right. He's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite.
Well,
he
no,
goes
because-
around
because-
sexually abusing women, and then goes around
There's a whole lot of men that abuse women that are still good fathers. One ain't got nothing to do with the other. One ain't got nothing. Let me tell you something. I know some men that are nasty as, excuse my language, who are nasty heathens to the wives, to the mothers of their children, but they love their children.
No one said we're not talking about love.
But so you cannot compare the two. You can't compare the two.
We're not talking about love. In fact, that kind of came out in the judge's ruling. Not this particular judge, but the judge who opened the deposition or allowed it to move forward or unsealed it, if you will. He essentially used Bill Cosby's own words against him and saying that one of the reasons his right to privacy had been diminished, not just because he was a public figure, but because he held himself out to be a moralist.
Okay. Well, maybe the reason why they did not come back with a guilty verdict is just she called them 100 times after this allegedly happened.
Now you want to talk about the merits of the case.
Well,
let's
talk about the whole case.
The merits of the case.
Don't talk about the case the parts of the case that helps the prosecutor's position that he's going to continue to try the case until he gets a conviction.
We are talking about the whole case. First, we're talking about the process. Now we're talking about the merits of the case. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily see that moving forward, they're going to get a conviction because jurors, or people in general, when they see a rape case, they want to see some kind of consistency. And this particular victim, based on the testimony that I heard, was a little inconsistent. She didn't act in the I don't know what a normal sexual assault victim acts like.
Let's do a precursor. We're not saying whether we believe it happened or it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. We're talking as lawyers based on our experience and us both having tried sexual assault cases.
And you being a defense attorney.
Me being a defense attorney.
And me being a prosecutor.
Yes, okay.
Yeah,
and me having sat on criminal trials of sexual assault, rape, of many different degrees. But this is the thing that I thought to be very distinguishing in the Bill Cosby cases. over these 40 years or 40 something women, they all took a pill. No one said somebody dropped a pill or Mickey in their drink. They all knew they took a pill.
Oh, so they voluntarily
took a pill.
Oh.
Whether they knew what the pill was going to do, I'm just saying common sense.
That's part of consent. If you didn't know what it was going to do, I don't know that they all voluntarily took this pill. So
Not
you're
one,
saying,
I have not heard. I've been listening to many of these cases, past cases, and this present case, and
Right.
even in this present case,
Right.
if you know the color of the pill, the reaction from the pill, that means you saw the pill. So at the end of the day, if you saw the pill, I don't know what you know, whether he done or what he didn't do, since you supposedly were out
Well, that's
of
the whole
commission.
purpose of being drugged, so you don't know what's being done to you.
Okay, so but there was
is that
also
rape? Is that consent?
no, I'm
Is
not
that
saying that's consent,
Is
but she
that-
did not go to the hospital and say she was raped on that day.
So if you're a rape victim, you have to go to the hospital.
No,
on
I'm
that
just
day.
saying. All I'm saying is something to corroborate that the sex that they had was not consensual. I'm not saying she wasn't raped. Let me continue to say, because I know that some of you women gonna lose your damn mind. I'm not saying that she wasn't raped. What I am saying is I'm dealing with law, and that's it. I'm dealing with facts, and that's it.
Proof,
I don't care if
and
it's
beyond
Joe
a
Blow
reasonable-
and Mary Jane.
and beyond a
Let's
reasonable
make
doubt.
this Joe Blow and Mary Jane, and they have no color on their skin.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at it that way, and that way I can keep all you crazy people from losing your minds.
Who you calling crazy?
Yeah, we got some crazy
What
listeners.
are you talking
Hey, Chris, Chris, if you listen over there in Texas, how you doing, Chris? We had a conversation. I'm gonna talk about you in a minute, Chris.
Okay,
Let me
I
tell-
don't know what you're talking
Chris
about. but
O'Toole
okay.
is one of he is a faithful viewer. of
Hello,
ours.
Chris. How are you?
And I spoke to Chris over the weekend after the shooting happened in Washington,
Oh
D.C.
my goodness. Okay, and not so much for
And,
speaking with Chris, but just that shooting.
Well, he
in
did.
and
You
of
know what he
itself.
did? He had messaged us, and so I had
on our Facebook page.
on our Facebook page.
Remember, we do have a Facebook page.
Yes,
and you can join us on
join us on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We still have sistersinlaw.com. We still have YouTube and Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe while we're putting it in here while you're
On
watching this on YouTube.
And join the conversation.
So Chris, he's married to an African American, and so his son is living more the Obama life.
All right.
And his wife is from Panama, but she's a chocolate locks wearing like me.
Okay.
So his son is always confused because he speaks fluent Spanish.
Yes.
He looks like President Obama.
Right.
But his daddy is a 6 foot 6 foot something, because Chris looked like a big dude.
All right.
White man
Okay.
living in Texas, who's originally from North Carolina.
What part of Texas? If you remember.
I don't
All right.
remember.
Go ahead.
But
That is a red state.
one of the things that
Very
we were
red.
talking about as we were talking, he was telling me how, it was hard for them to believe all of this stuff that's going on because
What's the
with the
Russia?
shootings, Russia, all these conspiracies. And he gave me, for an example, the case of the shootings of the young people in Newtown. And so I'm listening.
On what regard? An example that he can't believe it?
He believed, based on things that he saw, and as we know, Russia is,
Well,
is
Alex
all up
Jones,
in our YouTube.
Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly
Has
a reason. Oh, it's going to air tonight. Alex
what?
Jones has been
you know
promoting
what?
a conspiracy theory for the Newtown
I
shooting,
do believe,
indicating it didn't happen, and I don't
I
see
do
how you can
believe
even
that
do that. How callous could
freedom
be.
of speech is something that everybody has a right to.
Right.
But I do believe if MSNBC, CBS, NBC, and even daytime Fox, because I don't consider Fox
Oh, you
entertainment.
think Fox and Friends is okay?
Fox and Friends is tomfoolery. I said daytime,
Daytime,
not morning.
not morning. Oh, okay.
If you want
Distinction.
to consider yourself to be someone or a channel that can be considered as someone can take serious, then I think you need to distinguish the guests that you have on there. It would be no different than if somebody who wanted to bring on David Duke.
All
This
right,
guy
okay,
is
there's-
equivalent to David Duke.
So Megyn Kelly is going to interview, or has interviewed, Alex Jones, but your friend, Mr. O'Toole in Texas, does not believe the Newtown shooting happened. And I think
And Alex Jones is one of the first person who put that conspiracy out
And
there.
I think Alex Jones is also from Texas. Not that that necessarily means anything.
Well, that shows
But-
you what goes on in Texas.
Well,
With Texas,
Anyway,
well, look,
but I guess- but
let
I
me
guess
throw
so.
something out there. Texas don't believe that there was a Holocaust or that slavery happened. So,
all right.
you
Well,
look,
you know,
I
and
wish
that-
they
that-
would. I wish they
well,
would go
listen,
ahead
that
and
just-
succeed, and so that we have one less crazy state to deal with.
Now. But what that really speaks of in terms of what people are listening to, what people are reading,
Mm-hmm.
and their inability or not
That
to check
choice.
their sources, because I mean, there's something going around where people are trying to get through this alleged fake news stage, and they're saying they're not going to post anything, or they're not going to go and
But let me-
espouse anything unless they can
Let me
check
tell
the
you about
sources
your.
a
But
couple
let
of
me
times.
tell you about your 45. Though.
I thought we were going to talk
45.
about 45.
But no. Let me just for a minute.
Aren't we bored with you?
We are 45. I'm gonna give you a little. I'm gonna give you a little. I'm gonna give you.
You got 45 seconds.
I got 45. Yeah, 45. Let me give you a little advice. Shut up. Put your phone down and just shut up. Because if you did that, even if they have nothing that corroborates, you say things that can be used against you to get your state of mind. We have what you call
Well, it's not a-
actus reus.
Uh-huh.
For those of you who don't know any criminal, that's the act.
Right.
And the mens rea, that's the mental, the act and the mind together. How they can coincide. So if an act happened and we can't necessarily figure it out, then we're going to look at your mens rea. What is his thought? A man who says that I fired Comey because of this Russia thing. He ain't
Yes,
say Russia
yes.
up.
He
This
said-
Russia.
Russia.
This Russia thing.
Hello.
And this Russia thing and Trump is if you didn't do anything with Russia, why did you fire him?
Well, actus reus and mens reus. Sounds like,
You sound like a
would-
damn fool.
Well, I mean, we could also say Bill needed to shut up too, Mr. Cosby.
Yeah, but
anyway, we can go
But
back
he
to
has
the
a
45th.
jury. But he has a jury that was impaneling a trial that went on.
Right.
Now we got to worry about whether Muller is going to determine whether this man. Remember, he can indict him, but
Yes.
he can put up articles of impeachment to go before the Senate.
Right, and maybe like
And
Nixon.
if he does it,
maybe
like
Nixon,
he should, get 2 years. Let's see if we
well-
can change up this Senate a little bit, because the Senate has to do the actual impeachment.
Well, maybe when the articles of impeachment, if in fact articles of impeachment are drawn up, Trump will do a Nixon and resign.
But you know what? And this is the sad thing
And then we'll have
about 45.
Vice President Pence.
Oh, God, please no. That's why Pence is lawyering up. Do you know that Pence had a fundraiser yesterday, $1,000 a play fundraiser
For his legal defense fund? For what?
Well, they say that it was kind of like the exploratory like you usually do if you running for president.
Oh, really?
But who puts
Well,
up with
Pence
such?
sees the writing on the wall.
Yeah, but nobody does that. You're only 6-7 months into being president.
Right, that's
a
kind of
little unheard
insulting. That's a little insulting
So
to,
the only
to the
thing,
45th.
the only thing that
But-
they can actually equate it to is that he's trying to, because he can't raise money in office for personal gain,
Right.
But he can raise money for, in this case,
For a run for
for
the-
legal defense fund.
Oh, he can raise money
He
for
can.
illegal?
He
Okay.
can. He
well,
can. Oh,
he
but
may
that-
need it,
let
or
me
at
get-
least
so
he
let me
needs
get
a
this
second set of advisors, because every time Pence goes out and says something that the president says, the president undercuts it.
Oh my God, he is
So
such
he's
an
been
idiot.
insulted on a number of levels.
mean,
I
but
feel
you know
bad
what?
for Pence on some levels.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for Pence because Pence is crazy. See, Donald Trump is stupid.
Okay, so you don't.
Stupid is different from
So he's crazy
from
smart.
crazy.
He's crazy smart.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
See, Pence is sitting back. Wait a minute. Remember, I was telling you guys about 666 and that governmental thing with that demon that one's gonna come out with the 3 heads or 6 heads or 10 heads in Revelation
What are you
3:7.
talking about? I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
I talked about that last week
With the
triple
building in New
60.
York with
Yes,
Kushner.
with Kushner.
Okay, so
But I'm gonna bring that to a little bit. This fool had his whole cabinet sit around the table and praise him. And ranks previous, he did everything.
You mean the 45th had the cabinet sit around and praise him?
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Not only did they praise him, ranks previous did everything but put knee pads on. Ranks previous said, I thank you for giving
When did this happen?
For blessing us.
When did this
The
happen?
same day of the hearings with the Keebler Elf.
Last week.
Last week. Ranks
How did
previous
this
said,
get out to the media?
Ranks previous he said, I thank you for blessing us. We don't live in a monarchy.
Blessing.
We ain't got no kings.
I certainly don't feel blessed.
And his name ain't Jehovah Jireh. He ain't nobody's provider. That fool said, thank you for blessing us with the opportunity to be a part of this groundbreaking president. Ranks. Dude.
Folks are lawyering up
You
in
looking
the
like a
presidential
prostitute
cabinet.
right now.
How is that a blessing?
And he's pimping you, dude.
How is that a blessing? When people are scared to say
When the vice
without
president,
talking to
wait a
an
minute.
attorney first.
When the president's
The lawyer has a lawyer.
You know something funky
Oh,
is
my
going on
goodness.
in D.C. Oh, let me do one thing, and I don't know his name. I do know he's a Republican, and I do know that if it were not for him, there would not have been any security at the field when the Republican-Democrat baseball, prior to the Republican-Democratic annual game that they raised over $1 million. But the Senate person that got shot, Scalise,
he's doing better.
but
They've raised
he
his
was
condition.
definitely injured, and my prayers go to him, his family, his children, because as much as if it were not for him, many people would have probably died. I'm sure his wife and his children don't give a hot rat's behind the fact that his life is now in abeyance. But let me also send blessings to the African American sister, brother, and a Hispanic brother who was his security detail.
Right.
Who took all of them took bullets
From the Capitol Police. Yes.
That's in addition to the Capitol Police.
I thought
that's
the
his
security
Senate security.
That security detail in the Capitol Police, from what I understand, is the same.
Are they one and the same?
They're one and the same.
Well,
They're one and the same.
these were agents that nobody else, because the Capitol
Right.
Police came in full
That was
force.
backup. That was backup for them.
Well, these 3 officers that were there on the scene took bullets for this man.
Yes, they did.
And they didn't run away
Well,
from
not
the bullets.
just him, but everybody that
they
was on the
ran-
field.
They
Everybody
ran to
was
the
on the
bullets. I was listening to one of the senators who was in the dugout, who was scared, and he should have rightfully
so,
scared.
yes.
But you know what? And maybe I'm a scaredy cat black girl, because I can tell you what. I hear a bullet, I'm going in the opposite direction.
Of course.
There was this one woman, she hid behind a mailbox with her little dog in tow.
Right.
Dog is whining, but that camera was going. It is amazing how people believe that it is much more important to get a video of an incident than it is to save their own lives.
Well, that is amazing.
I
That's
couldn't do it.
amazing,
I
but
couldn't
we
do
have
it.
the footage. I don't know that I would have been capable of doing it
But
either.
what I do, I give Nancy Pelosi and Ryan a lot of credit for coming together.
Well, they were human beings. That's what they should do. We
But you know
have
what?
a tendency to judge
This
them
was on
based
one
on
of
how
those
they
days
act every other day.
That some of the senators did admit.
Yes.
And you people need to understand this. They admitted that what you guys see on TV is for entertainment. These people know each other for 20, 30 years. Their children have known their children to be
That's
born.
true.
They attend each other's weddings.
That's
and,
true.
And baby
And we
showers.
get all riled up about everything, or at least
and
the
they
general
know
public.
how to get on television and entertain you because they know who
Well,
their
they
base is
specifically say
and what
entertainment.
kind of rabbit
I
dog
believe they
information.
believe what they're saying on some
Some of
level.
them do. Some
I
of them
believe
do.
that.
Oh, but this is the other thing. Oh, okay. Let me because y'all looking at two black.
Newsflash.
You looking at two black women here. One nappy and one fried.
Yeah.
But let me tell you,
Let me
we
see
are
what's there.
consistent in one thing.
What is that, my dear?
If they tell one more black woman to shut up, like they told Kamala Harris,
Oh my goodness.
I'm about tired of
Now
that.
they didn't actually say shut up,
You-
but they
look,
did interrupt her consistently.
First of all, and look, I have been pretty much a supporter.
You're talking about now. We're talking about. We jumped from the shooting to
Yes, to the-
now
to-
to the hearings.
we're
to the
back at the
Keebler
hearing with the
Keebler
Keebler
Elf.
Elf.
But let's finish the shooting.
Okay.
Because a lot of what's been said about that shooting is that as a result of the nasty rhetoric that is out there in the public. And indeed, many individuals who have been the purveyors
Yeah.
of such rhetoric.
But, you know, I think they kinda-
Nugent has said
they-
he's going to behave now.
Oh,
Ted
but
Nugent.
but then I heard another Republican say he's just going to be bringing his gun now. He got a right to carry.
Yeah. Well, I guess
and is
I'm
that-
just
and
wondering.
you know, with the crazy part about-
why is it that when a crazy terrorist, and that's what he happened
He's
to be,
a terrorist.
He's a terrorist.
Just
the
like
guy
the boy
who did
in
the
North
shooting,
Carolina that did the shooting at the AME church. He was
So-
a terrorist. You don't have to be a Muslim to be a terrorist.
So when this terrorist went out there and shot up that baseball
A
field,
white man from where was he from? Alabama?
Maybe Illinois,
No,
maybe?
Chicago,
Okay. From the Illinois area.
And married 40
Okay,
years. His
okay,
wife
okay.
said she didn't know what he
But
was going
why
there for.
is it that we then blame their actions on third parties?
Other than
Why-
him being a terrorist,
Right. Why can't crazy just be crazy without
because
influence from somebody
No, only
else?
if you're Muslim, you're a terrorist.
Okay.
You know, it's like
So, I guess my
it's like
point
they,
is
it's
it
like
the
they say,
rhetoric?
that's like how you attach black to ghetto. Though
Is-
ghetto is a term that started off with Jews. I'm just saying, giving a little bit of information 101.
It's like we're all over the place.
It's the cupcake.
Oh, it's the cupcake
It's the-
Chardonnay.
it's the cupcake.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we shouldn't have any more.
No, we're gonna have
Because-
cupcake.
okay,
It's
all right.
hot. It's the summertime, and we're gonna make sure that we enjoy you as you enjoy it. We want you. Look, when you know we're coming on, go get you some cupcake. Go look. If you don't drink, get some apple cider, whatever. Whatever. it
lemonade.
takes. Lemonade. Lemonade's good.
Yes.
Lemonade's good.
Lynchburg.
But what I wanted to say, and as we went on is, remember this happened with Elizabeth Warren. Remember she was warned, yet she persisted. Kamala Harris is the second sister. There was one in the congressional hearings, and I don't know her name.
Is this a race issue? Or is this a woman issue? Or is
I-
it a combination of the two?
I-
where it
well, let
appears
me tell
that
you
women
something.
with a voice, they attempt to shut them up.
You know what? It seems to be pretty consistent with McCain, because McCain
Right.
was a visitor.
Yeah.
He was a visitor. He is not a part of this particular.
Right.
For him to say he should have shut up and mind his business.
Well,
He
McCain
a visitor.
interrupted the Keebler Elf. That would be Jeff Beauregard Sessions.
Because he was getting look,
testifying,
he said,
and he was
I'm
getting
getting flustered.
He was getting flustered.
He getting flustered.
He needed time to figure out what
Dude,
lie he was going to tell.
how long have
when
you
the answer to
been
the question,
in Congress
the
and-
answer to the question was yes or no. Was yes or no.
That was
He
a-
had to
that's a punk
overly
move.
explain stuff.
That was a punk move.
Oh well, did you speak to any
Okay.
Russians? Well, there could have
You
been
can't-
some in the
if you
room.
can't-
I'm not
if
sure.
you can't take a strong
attorney.
black woman asking you questions, you sure don't want to get me down there.
Well, is it?
And I can tell you, not for nothing. Don't take this one here being all nice and cool. Don't take her calm either, cause she could be a battle axe too.
We had fun last week. It had nothing to do with what we were doing, but I'm in the middle of a divorce trial, and I must say that I was at a me level when it came to cross-examining.
Yeah, no,
a
don't get her
particular
twisted.
expert.
She's
Oh,
trying
my
to be
God.
nice for y'all. Look, I had to be her adversary plenty of days. Whew.
For the
We had-
prosecution.
Yes, she was a prosecutor. I was a
Yeah.
defense attorney, and we needed to go and have soror drinks together so we
Yes.
could continue to be friends.
Maintain our
Because
friendship.
it's business.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
business.
Just like
And which is why you guys need to understand what you're looking on the news.
Yeah.
They need ratings. This is business. But don't believe that children were not killed in Newtown. Don't
they were.
believe that the towers that came down in New York did not come down.
They did.
Don't,
And
don't
people
go
around
with
in this
90,000
neighborhood lost
things
lots of
that the
people.
45th wants to put into the ilk of how Kennedy was killed. Stop with the conspiracy theory. Let's
Do
deal
your
with what we
research.
know.
Read.
No, don't
Go to-
research on Google or Wikipedia.
Go to the BBC. Go to NPR.
Read hard books. Libraries still exist.
Yes, they do.
Libraries still exist.
Yes, they do.
And you know what?
In Texas,
I'm old
though, they are
school.
banning they banned a whole lot of books.
I
It's like you
still
said,
read
slavery didn't
the
happen
New
in
York
Texas.
Times, the Washington Post, and I still read the Wall Street Journal. Not because I necessarily believe everything Wall Street Journal says. I got to get the stocks, but there's some papers that.
Well, I read other blogs also. I mean, I check out Fox, and I also check out Circa.
No. I read those
they have
online,
some-
though.
Yeah, I read them online.
I like
read
Rachel
all
Maddow.
I read
Girl,
all of my
Joy,
newspapers.
read, girl. You need to call me, Joy. I love myself some Joy Reid.
I switch back and forth.
But you know what?
Because they're both sensational.
They're both
And they
sensational.
both have the
But
different
what I have to tell
perspective.
you about
So somewhere in the middle, you can kind of find out what's
But the
actually
thing
going on.
about Rachel Maddow,
Yeah.
if you have not had an opportunity to see the news from the time you wake up in the morning at 9:00, MSNBC, and I'm not saying that there's not a better channel, but what I do say is that with Rachel, she's gonna give you the entire day on a wrap up.
Okay.
You know, I listen to Lawrence after her only because I know Lawrence is going to eat up. He can't stand Trump.
Well, there are a
And I
few
love-
commentators on
I love
Fox
Lawrence
that
O'Donnell.
are pretty down the middle.
Just
And
because
they
that-
have more of a conservative view, but still they do cover a little
Well,
bit
could
of
you tell
everything.
me anybody after 6:00 to 10:00 on Fox who is not just in Trump's jockstrap?
FCC. Oh, YouTube's not covered by the
No,
FCC.
no. Like
no,
I said, who after
Excuse
6:00
Excuse me.
is not totally
There is a
in-
young lady, and I don't know if she's after 6, and you're asking me for her name, and I can't think of her name. She's a blonde woman, maybe
Somebody new?
35, 40, and she usually cuts it right down the middle. I'm interested.
let me tell you something. Ain't a chick on Fox, and that's what I call them because I don't even see I don't see no one acting like a
Did you see where Tucker Carlson and Lisa Durden had a breakdown on TV?
It doesn't take
And do
much
you
for
know-
Tucker Carlson.
But
But
Lisa
let's see
Durden,
what-
but
let's
you know
see.
she was suspended from her position at Essex County College as a result of the retort that she had. And most
Why does
recently,
women ha-
most
why
recently
are
got
women-
reinstated.
Why are women having issues when I ain't seen a man get taken off for none of the bull crap they say yet?
Well, it was a little. You may not have thought it was a little extreme, but it was heated. She was defending Black Lives Matter and came out with
Tucker Carlson is somebody you have to go into your you got to go into your black girl pocket. Cause see, I am for the most part I am one of those people who truly have a rainbow of friends.
Yeah.
I'm talking not nobody who I just say hi at work, who I dine, break glass with. I mean,
I think we all do. Particularly, well,
No, we
meaning
all
between the
don't.
two of us,
look.
between the two of us, living in the area that we live in,
yeah, and our
being in the
community
profession that we
are
happen-
in.
Our friends hit the spectrum.
But let me tell you, the one great thing that I love about my friend, and hey, Ivy, just in case you're watching, Ivy Millen is one of my best friends. And Ivy's Democrat, and Harry's her husband is Republican, and we've fought for years. But you know what? We can fight and still love one another, and not have that
and
be a personal
that's
thing.
the problem that in general that I have with what's going on out there is that we don't know when to stop.
Yeah, I think it's about the time to stop, though.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it is.
It is.
We've been hanging out here. Hey, wait,
Look.
did we ever toast? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you join us.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes,
I want to stop us from shaking because the
Right.
wind is blowing. It's a wonderful evening out, afternoon out. But my daughter, congratulations to my daughter Leslie Celeste Sekou, because you're not going to
Leslie.
see her next week. You're not going to see me next week because
I'm going to
is
do the show by myself. Oh my
promised
God, what am I
tomorrow.
going to say? You know, there's going to be
graduation
Yes,
Thursday.
yes.
I fly out to college on Friday.
lovely, lovely. So, what am I going to do without my Sarah?
Trust
to
me,
closet?
I know she's going. Look, I'm going to be watching too.
You're going to get, actually, no offense, you're going to get to hear me complete a sentence. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get an opportunity to hear me fill a whole paragraph.
So, Roy,
Oh my
look,
God.
I don't have my pearls on, but you know, I'm clutching my pearls.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Thank you for joining
All right.
Sisters-in-Law. Join us on Facebook and our YouTube Live, Facebook.com. We are going on our www.sistersinlaw.com, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yes. Until next time.
Tokwase Sekou,
And
better
Rosalind
known
Charles.
as Judge T.
And Rosalind Charles.
See you next time on Sisters and Law. Thank you.